And welcome to Tuesday, August 19th work session. As Clerk Moss said, our chair is excused today, and I am joined as vice chair by Commissioner Willie, Commissioner Fye, and Commissioner Snyder. So with that, let's get started with our first item of business, which is the formal agenda item discussion. Is everyone comfortable with the agenda and with the consent agenda?
Yes.
Yep, me too. Okay, so that's good. Moving on. I'd like to invite to the table Stephen Roberts and anybody else that's coming with you, Stephen, to talk about the reappointment of members to RROMAC, the Rural Roads Operations and Maintenance Advisory Commission. Welcome.
Thank
Jerry.
you, Commissioner.
Yeah, we're like Sherry with us.
Yes. Good morning, Commissioners. Stephen Roberts. I'm the Director of Land Use and Transportation, joined by Sherry Gray, who's our Community Programs Coordinator for the Operations Division. And so she's going to walk us through some potential member reappointments to the Rural Roads Operations and Maintenance Advisory Committee. So go ahead, Sherry.
Thank you very much. RROMAC is a 9-member committee, and we have 3 expiring terms, a 9-member committee with 8 sitting members, 3 expiring terms this year, and 2 proposed reappointments. No new applicants, so there will be a net vacancy of 2 after everything. Clay Leahy and Elizabeth Dudley are the reappointments. They're both finishing their first 4-year term, and their terms and the next term is 4 years as well. So 2029 would be the expiration, and that's everything.
Are there any questions?
No, this is a good group. It's fun to talk about all the stuff rural on this, and so they do a good job. They're very focused on this. They do their homework, so
Great.
I don't have questions. Good group.
Yep. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks. This will be on your agenda for next week.
Perfect.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Thanks. Thank you for your work. All right. The next item is the update on First Home Program, our Housing Production Opportunity Fund. I'd like to welcome Shannon Wilson and Keegan Curry. So please jump right in. Thank you for being here.
Well, good morning, Vice Chair Treese and Commissioners, and thank you for the opportunity to be with you. My name is Shannon Wilson. I'm the Program Manager of our Office of Community Development, and I'm joined by my colleague,
Keegan Curry. I'm a Housing and Community Development Specialist with the Office of Community Development.
And we are here today to give an update on the First Home Program, which is a part of the Housing Production Opportunity Fund, and then to request your board's feedback on a staff recommendation for using the balance of the Housing Production Opportunity Fund dollars. So in terms of our time together, so I'll provide just a brief history of the Housing Production Opportunity Fund and its use in the First Home Program, which has been administered by our office, the status of the remaining HPOF funding, and then, as I said, a request or recommendation to allocate that remaining HPOF funding to the First Home Homeownership Program. And so that is the specific policy question, and then we'll get into that as we go through the presentation. So the Housing Production Opportunity Fund, also known as HPOF, it was created by our board in February of 2021. And so that was with a initial commitment of $4 million per year for 5 years. And so that funding was divided into really 3 tranches. So for affordable multifamily rentals, so for rental housing, that was to support the success of the regional metro affordable housing bond within the county. And then a tranche was for a home ownership program, which we developed into the First Home Program. And then a third was for innovative funding projects. And so then as the budget years progressed, and there were concerns overall with the county budget, and so that commitment of funds to HPOF had to be reevaluated. And so, but since approval, funding for HPOF did was able to support 10 rental property developments totaling $5 million, and then 2 rounds of funding for our first home program, so totaling $3.9 million. And so there was funding allocated to HPOF in 2023 and 2024 at reduced levels, and then in our current budget year there is no additional HPOF funds. So we're looking at what's remaining from those prior year funds. So in 2022, that was when we came to your board with our kind of model for the first home ownership program and programmed the first $2.9 million of that. So we awarded it through a competitive process to community-based organizations providing down payment assistance. So both in terms of permanent affordability, like a community land trust model, and then also down payment assistance. And then in 2024, an additional $1 million was programmed for that purpose. And so we have provided support to 4 organizations in those 2 rounds of funding. Sorry, start going through really fast now. And so I will turn over to Keegan to get into some of the details.
Yeah, so the table on the board here, or on the screen here, just shows the funding rounds through the 2 years that have been awarded to the 4 organizations. 2 of the organizations, or sorry, 1 of the organizations got funding in both years. That's Proud Ground. They do a permanent affordability program in which they are the ultimate purchaser of the home and the land, which then gets sort of through a structure, the homeowner is able to buy it, and then when they want to sell their home, it gets sold to another client of Proud Ground at an affordable rate, versus operating as a nonprofit lender, in which they still do the down payment assistance, but then once the mortgage is paid off, then the homeowner is able to do with the house whatever they want. But the 4 organizations, Proud Ground, Portland Housing Center, Habitat for Humanity, Portland Region, and West Tualatin Habitat for Humanity have been awarded funding through the program so far.
And just for clarity, all of the homes are in Washington County.
That's correct.
Yeah, just say that because of the name Portland there.
Right. Yeah. Even though they're Portland Region, but they do operate in Washington County. So that's part of the requirements. There are slightly different requirements for the 2 models, the nonprofit lending and permanent affordability. But in broad brushstrokes, this kind of covers both different program models. You do have to be a resident of the county, and the home has to be within the county, as you said. Or we've also had folks who work in the county and have deep roots here, sort of accepted into the spirit of the program as well. And the area median income of the household has to be 100% or less. The home being within the county and also purchased at equal to or below the state price acquisition limit, which is set by Oregon Housing and Community Services. I think in 2024 it was around 650,000, and now it's gone up to over 700,000, which I think says a lot about the affordability and rising home costs in the region. And the down payment assistance is up to $135,000, and the down payment loans carry 0% interest over their lifespan. Yes.
Good morning. The down payment assistance up to $135,000 at a 0 interest. If a house is $700,000, the down payment would only cover up to the $135,000, or is it?
Yeah, and so it depends on the setup of the program, if it's nonprofit lender or permanent affordability. But in the nonprofit lenders, there's a secondary mortgage that the organization holds for the down payment at 0% interest, and then the rest of the mortgage is done through a traditional mortgage.
Do you know on average how many down payment assistance we've spent, and do we know the average? Yeah, the average amount that we gave to people, or you could also quantify it by number of people we've helped.
Yeah, that's all also in the rest of the presentation. But we've served 43 households, and the average award was $60,849. So it's quite a bit lower than that cap usually, but there's been a pretty wide swing of the down payment assistance that's been utilized by folks.
So, last, the down payment assistance, 135,000, 0% interest. That implies that they owe us money for that. They have to repay that down payment. I didn't think that was part of the program. Because why would we charge them over their interest? So we just gave them the money, the down payment money, right?
Yeah, and it's a forgivable
I
loan
misread
over
that.
the.
And when it says 0 interest, I thought, do they owe us this money?
Are they still making
Yeah.
a payment on that? On the 0%? Or is it no payment 0%?
I think we gave them the money.
Yeah, it's no payment. If I may, so it's really a protection in case the period of affordability is not met. So if they go to sell the home during the established period of affordability, then they would repay that loan out of the proceeds.
And at that time, there'd be 0% interest.
Yes, so it would just be
Okay,
the,
that's,
It'd still be
whatever that
100.
initial
If it
amount
were
was.
135, it'd still be 135.
So I guess I'm sorry. I'm thinking about. Never mind. When we get to the end, I'll ask this question.
Like conventional home, a conventional loan, I think you touched on that, is what you're thinking?
Well, so what's the period of time? 5 years before they can't sell the house before 5 years? Longer than that.
I believe it's 10 years.
Yeah, I was thinking it was 10 years. I'm just vaguely remembering this program and the criteria we put together. So we've got basically a loan on the books for 10 years. And after 10 years, then it basically amortizes off. So this should be a question I would be asking John.
So board, let's maybe take a step back and let me add a bit of context. So for several years, this commission has seen the challenges within our community on rising home costs. I don't have all the specific information in front of me, but 2019, your board had directed staff about there to look at using general funds to create a housing production opportunity fund. The board directed staff to look at opportunities to establish those dollars. The reason staff have usage of the remaining fund balance is because with our year-over-year budget cuts, we have not had the discretionary dollars to replenish housing production opportunity fund. So what is critical in the staff presentation is this is about spend down of the funds. We do not have general funds or other discretionary funds that are available at this point in time to replenish that fund. As a follow-up, staff can forward the program guidelines. I don't want to expect that staff have all that detail at the tip of their fingers, but we do have guidelines that this board approved as we established the fund.
so we should probably get through the presentation and then ask more questions.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. So some of the benefits, I mean, I'm sure you all know the benefits of home ownership, but for this program specifically, lifelong or permanent affordability for the individual in the case of a nonprofit lender, their household being able to gain access to the benefits of home ownership for their period of time that they live there, or permanent affordability in the case of a land trust model where that home is brought into an organization's portfolio and then is able to be affordable for a very, very long time. But additionally, a portion of the program is designed to include some layer of homeowner or home buyer education. There's HUD certified trainings programs that the clients go through to understand the home buying process. There's a lot of layered complexities there that folks aren't always familiar with, so they do gain that. But additionally, with organizations like Habitat for Humanity, they also gain additional skills, workshops learning how to read their home's blueprint so they understand the electrical layout, the plumbing layout, where their water shutoff might be, all those details about owning a home that are become very important when you no longer have a landlord or a super that you can call. Rewiring electrical sockets in case that's ever a need, other little skills, and of course the sweat equity that they build into their home by going and helping on site to build their or their neighbor's house. And of course, the ownership opportunities for the populations for which home ownership is traditionally out of reach. People who are able to afford a mortgage, but not the down payment portion of buying a home. And one of those people, this was shared by Habitat for Humanity Portland region. They shared a client story, which is available in the rest of the files for today in our PDF, the program report. But Alicio and his partner have 4 kids, ages 2 to 10. And Alicio is a landscaper and his partner is a stay-at-home mom. They've had all kinds of things that they shared in their story, but it was really, really impactful for them to get connected with Habitat for Humanity and be able to get the down payment assistance. And the quote that he said is that it's comforting to know that the house will belong to my family for good. It's everything. It's a win-win-win. So of course I'm going to go into the numbers of the program itself here, but there's, each of these individuals who have been served have a story similar to Alicio's. It's important to center that as well. So the accomplishments to date, as far as data goes, and I do apologize, I want to point out really quickly that the label on this map is actually incorrect. It's from a previous version that I included on accident, but I do have the accurate numbers that I can share with the board as well. But the numbers on the left here, there 43 households were served through fiscal year 2025. That just ended. We've now since had 2 additional closings, so 45 total as of today. The average award was just over $60,000. And there's been purchases by a really, really broad swath of the community in Washington County, purchases by seniors who are couples, single moms, families of 4 or more, like Alicio's, younger individuals. Really, it's been all across the board. But the main thing that I did see is that most of the funding was utilized by households who are 80% or below area median income. So it's been really impactful for those lower or moderate income households here in Washington County. And I'm going to hand it back over to Shannon for the rest of the presentation.
Great, thank you. Well, and this speaks to Commissioner Fai's question earlier too, around like the amount of subsidy per home sale. So this is a chart. It starts with organized by the least amount of funding to the most amount of funding, and so you can see the range of subsidy provided or down payment assistance provided for each of the home sales that have occurred through the program. And so the blue area is from the first home program that we administer, and then the orange is additional assistance. So there are, in a number of cases, actually for the majority of the clients, the first home dollars are leveraged with additional down payment assistance, either from some local jurisdictions have down payment assistance, or the other community-based organizations have other funding, or Habitat for Humanity owns the land, or the land trust model. So a variety of sources, but just demonstrating the amount of leverage that this program accomplishes.
Shannon, on
Yes.
the way you have that presented, I guess I want to just check a little bit my understanding here. Are you also implying or indicating that in many of those leverage situations, like where there's more assistance, the orange bars, that if the blue money wasn't available, maybe this wouldn't have happened, like the orange part wouldn't have been possible? Or like, what is I guess I'm just trying to make sure we're understanding the value of the program fully.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for that question. I think part of the nuance there is that it allows the organization to serve a lower income household. So I think that orange subsidy, it is still available. It could be used independently from the first home resources, I think in most all cases, but it's just in terms of who they can serve with that funding. So by combining the sources, that allows them to serve a lower area median income. So
okay,
where it's
providing help to the neediest.
Yes, and so still ensuring there are different metrics that they use to ensure the household can still afford the mortgage amount over time, so it is still sized to be affordable. But that additional subsidy essentially buying down the mortgage for a lower income household.
So on this slide, if when our money goes away, when if we approve I think it's 1.2 million,
Okay.
moving forward, then the responsibility will lie only with the orange, right?
Yes.
That would be all that's available.
Yeah.
Yeah, and once again, maybe taking a step back on just the Housing Production Opportunity Fund. That fund has been extremely beneficial, as we see, for single family home ownership. It has also been the gap for affordable housing development projects too on
Oh.
the housing department side. So anytime that the county can have flexible funding to help fill gaps or leverage funding, the county can put that to use, whether it's housing or it's any other service area. So that's what you're seeing, the value of discretionary funds and how we can leverage those funds and pair those funds, in this case, for home ownership.
Could I ask you a follow-up question from here? I get the horizontal is the amount of money. What's the vertical?
So those
Number.
are like the number of
Individuals?
or like each household is a single line essentially that's been served by the program.
There's 41 of them, so it
So,
represents 41
yeah,
houses. I counted.
So that's a distribution.
Oh, you did?
Yes, per household.
So I guess it's a life characteristics that exists for certain households to just stay in the blue and some to get some orange assistance. Is that fair?
Yes, and it's really determined by the community-based organization who does an assessment of their income and the mortgage and I think is varied over the life of the program in terms of the sale prices and the interest rates that impact the cost of the home, and so that might impact the amount of subsidy that they need. Even if their income is the same, the interest rate's gone up, so then they need more subsidy to buy the same house essentially. So that's reflected in there as well.
It's very hopeful or encouraging to see there's resources out there.
I think it does help,
Very
with our partners too in the Department of Housing, just provide that continuum of housing support in the county from very low income to this, more moderate income.
This is permanently changing the trajectory these families are on.
Absolutely.
Right. I think generational wealth and all of that as well.
This was my favorite side, like at least with this context, understanding of it too. Just it really just facilitates. There's hope out there. There's help out there, and we're gonna do our part.
The other thing that's interesting to me about this slide is that there's a story behind each one of those bars, an individual story. So, thank you. Let's move forward.
Yes. So moving into the balances in the Housing Production Opportunity Fund. So there's the detailed line items that's available. So total is just under $1.3 million. And so you can see there how it's broken out. So the rental dollars were nearly all used. Those are generally, as Tanya had shared, were used for the support of affordable rental housing development. Those were nearly all awarded at $500,000 a piece. And so that kind of balance in the rental housing category is not really sufficient to support isn't really an efficient use of funds to use it for a rental housing project. So that's why we were proposing kind of consolidating all of the remaining HPOF funds and using that towards the first home program. So a portion of it would still support the administrative costs to do that, but the large majority of that would go directly to supporting low and moderate income homeowners. So I will say too, so in the beginning when HPOF was established, there was a portion that was allocated to that innovative project kind of pot of funds. And there were some ideas around that, but those funds were never programmed. And so that's why those are remaining. And so that is our request before your board today, or for discussion, and then for subsequent consideration for approval.
Could you help me understand? I'm not sure I fully follow the homeownership administration admin portion of it versus like I don't know. I'm not sure what's my takeaway from this slide? What am I supposed to take away?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So those kind of tranches of funding, so those were approved, those kind of how they are separated was approved by your board. And so that's why it's reflected in those different categories. So there was it's a certain percentage for administrative costs. The rental administrative dollars, there's more remaining because they're awarded in larger amounts. And so it's just less administrative burden, to make each $500,000 award as opposed to, administering it as 60
Leftover funds.
So they're basically leftover funds in all the categories, but they were directed into those categories by your board. And so that's why we're here.
Okay.
And
The two admin categories you're saying were our internal costs of administering the programs?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
And so, yes, so our request would be to, we can confirm the actual administrative costs that we would need right now. I believe that's 15% of the total HPOF dollars that are, that have been available. So essentially, if we did combine those two, that would be, just our initial estimate is more than enough in administrative costs to continue the program and, expend all of the funds and really close it out. So, which is roughly, I believe, 15% of the total, it was initially allocated.
Reasonable overhead.
So,
but just to follow along with that, so you're asking us to, and with the exception of the admin money, bundle the other two together into one funds because we don't have enough for rental to really do that, or the innovative isn't being used. Are we bundling this money into a home ownership fund?
Their
Yes.
proposal is to bundle all of it except for the remaining admin fee.
Yeah, that's that. I wanted to make sure I understood that. So yeah, okay.
yes, that is our, yes, that is our request. So that would be a total of just under $1.3 million. So then essentially we would determine the exact amount for admin, but 10 to 15% of that would be used for administrative costs. And then based on the average subsidy amount and range within there too, would serve an estimated 15 to 25 households. And then also in terms of a one Washington County approach, we also work closely with the Department of Housing Services and the Housing Authority. And so as they're in the middle of their disposition of public housing units, these funds can be matched by those organizations to support that as well. So and so just moving into discussion, those were our key questions. If there's any additional information you needed, and then any recommendation around kind of reallocating the rest of those dollars. I did want to just add those dollars are in our Office of Community Development budget for fiscal year 25-26. So that was approved by your board. So really the question is kind of how we use those funds and whether you would support kind of pooling them and using them towards this first home program. So thank you for your time.
Discussion questions.
I think we should move forward. I think this is a very logical step to continue leveraging the county resources in a smart way, getting more people housed and changing their family's wealth trajectory too.
Vice Chair. I'm in support. Thank you for your presentation. I really appreciate it. This is a topic that I can relate and resonates with me and can see the value. So I really thought that was brilliant to connect to the Section 18 disposition of public housing units, because I remember we had this conversation recently, and I thought, what a brilliant. And then now you said one Washington County, and it made sense. I was like, you're right, we are one Washington County. So when I was prepping this, I didn't the one Washington County framework didn't come to my head. So thank you. And then I want to just, when I first bought my own house, I went through the Portland Housing Center. I paid $75 to learn how to, this is many years ago, my American dream. I went through, but I wanted to be methodical and really go through the process of understanding. And somebody mentioned, because I was like, I want to own my own house. I think I'm ready. And I lived in Lake Oswego then, and somebody said, oh, you should look into the Portland housing units. And I didn't know if there's anything else that existed in Lake Oswego, so I immediately did and paid $75 and still have that email framed. And, just to what it meant. And I also came across through that process the home ownership assistance programs that exist, and really put me in a trajectory that I can really buy my own house, even though I had, one income myself, and ended up actually realizing that if I wanted to buy a house where I was, that wasn't realistic, and I needed to get a second job, and then that kicked me out of the home ownership assistance program. So I really appreciated the slide that demonstrated there are other resources that exist, even if ours is dwindling down. So even though it kicked me out, it was really I knew a lot of people that were also taking advantage of it, that didn't get kicked out, that really utilized it, and now they're flourishing and actually own more houses than I do in our community. And then the other memory line that I took when I was prepping this presentation is, when we came to America, there was a one-family Somali family that qualified for Habitat for Humanity housing. And one of the things she learned was you have to volunteer, you have to complete certain hours. And this back in the early 90s, Somali community was very small. And she tapped my mom, and we were in high school. So she tapped into my mom. My mom didn't know any English, but here she was volunteering for Habitat for Humanity and actually helping. And she did 5 hours. And that was the very proudest. She was like, I got to go to work. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't understand anybody, but I got to go to work. And that was really, and it dovetailed into her actually volunteering to get a volunteer job at Goodwill later on. Like it really got her. So Habitat for Humanity was first job. My mom used to say that was my first job, even though she never got paid. She did, she helped complete the hours, but so we're very connected to Habitat for Humanity. So this was really like a memory lane of like, oh, I could relate to this and I can relate to that. So I share this story to say you are making a difference, and these programs and these organizations that exist are making a difference, and they are really housing people. And that first woman, the Somali woman that was housed, to this day, she still has the house, although it's fully paid. But she's just so proud, and the whole community knows where that house is, and the whole community has been to her house, and it just made it really. And then her kids, it put them in a different trajectory. Some of us we take a different trajectory. It's not one size fits all, this lifestyle, but it put them in a really good trajectory that they're highly accomplished and finished their degree. So it was an inspirational story to be like, wow, look at this. A house can actually make a difference. So thank you for listening to my rant. And you're making
Thank you.
No, what's good. Too bad we had to stop funding this program. We'll put it on the to-do list for future.
That was going to be my last comment, is that thank you for this. Thank you for being creative. Thank you for actually banking that innovative money and not spending it when, if there wasn't a really good idea around it, and gives us the opportunity to be where we are now. And I agree with everyone about the section 18. That's great. I would say, let's hold on to this design. Let's hold on to this model for days that might be a little brighter when it comes to revenue forecasts and that type of thing. So I think you've demonstrated the fact that it can work, and it can work effectively. Tanya, I interrupted you.
Oh, I was just going to say, there was a reason I said when discretionary funds are available for this program, not just for single family ownership, but also for housing development, multifamily housing development. So I think from a staff perspective, you see that this works. We know that this works, and it's just identifying available funding in the future.
Great. Well, thank you. We're all thumbs up.
We're good.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you. And thank you for answering our questions along the way too. Okay, so we are a little bit early. Um, is there anything that we could bump up? I don't think we have any 15-minute conversations, do we?
We'll get 25 minutes if we go a little bit past that if Tanya's ready.
Or your board could start leadership communication.
Yeah, why don't we do that? We'll start leadership. So we'll start with, let's start with Alex.
Well, good morning. Bear with me a second, please. Good morning, Vice Chair Treese and commissioners. Over the last week, we had a bit of success with the state of Oregon. Senior Assistant County Counsel Eamon McMahon, I always mispronounce his name. I'm not watching right now. Working with our county HHS department, facilitated a meeting with Oregon Health Authority and the Oregon Department of Justice to review new language in the IGA with the state and its Office of Developmental Disability Services. In that meeting, we were able to articulate and raise concerns with some of the key contract language the state was putting forward due to recent actions at the federal level. Eamon was able to explain the county's approach and why we were considering changes to language and requesting changes to language. And shortly after, the state agreed to our proposed language and reissued the contract with new language for all counties across the state. So for a statewide change, this represents a really, really fast change in approach by the state and just kind of highlights the rapid response to our concerns with the language and of course, Eamon's ability to advocate on behalf of Washington County with the state.
That's great. Thank you.
One other just internal administrative note, we're happy to report we're conducting paralegal interviews this week for 2 open paralegal positions in our office. And I just want to specifically thank Ms. Shalonda Simpson, our Deputy HRO, Ms. Amanda Morris, and Ms. Laura Aranda in HR for their efforts in assisting County Council with obtaining high-quality candidates for these positions. They put a lot of work in. Some of that was driven by requests from our office, so we really appreciate their help. That's all I have for you this morning.
That's great. Thank you. Ms. Angie.
Yes, so good morning, Vice Chair Treese and commissioners. So first, I'll start a focus on Health and Human Services. Last month, older adult behavioral health specialist Kira McGrill, I apologize, Kira, if I mispronounced your name, from Dave's and Andy Wallace Behavioral Health, attended a national conference on aging in Chicago where they received the 2025 Aging Achievement Award for the educational program they developed called Aging Attitudes, which tackles ageism by helping us identify and address our own internalized ageism and debunk the myths of aging. Research tells us that our beliefs about aging impact how well and how long we live. Aging Attitudes increases awareness about ageism and empowers people of all ages to utilize tools to champion positive aging for themselves and others. Post-program evaluations indicate an increase in age-positive feelings. Most participants who completed the program identified a new strategy to reset internalized ageist beliefs and battle interpersonal ageist behaviors. So huge congratulations to Kira and Andy for this national award and their work together to build awareness, identify and close service gaps, and improve older adult behavioral health in our community. I will just note that they are able to do this as a training for your board. If you would like this training, we will be bringing this to our county leadership team as a training in the future as well.
Great, thank you.
Yep, I'm going to continue with just reminding the board that as of this afternoon, I will be out until next Thursday. Also a reminder, I will not be taking my work phone or laptop. Yes, I have a bit of anxiety, so I'm repeating that again. But I will be taking a break. So you will see that in an email. Marnie Kyle will be serving as acting until Sunday, and then Erin Calvert will be picking up the remainder of the week. And that concludes my update.
Now I see why Anne was clapping. You're off the hook, huh?
they're very happy that I am doing this and modeling it. They also know that we all need to step away and take a break. So I am trying to model it, and it is hard for me to do. So
Well, I just want to note that Rick Shanley just slid into home plate and was sick.
Yeah.
And if you're comfortable going next, you don't have to.
I'm ready to roll.
Okay,
Not
okay.
a problem. I had thought it was this afternoon.
Well, so did we.
Good thing there's texts. So, good morning. I want to start by talking about the NACWA Awards. Tomorrow, Director Phi will be attending the NACWA Peak Performance Awards at our Rock Creek facility. Peak Performance recognizes agencies that have done an excellent job in permit compliance. So there's different levels. This is a platinum award, recognizes 100% compliance over a minimum of 5 consecutive years. So Rock Creek has had a platinum award for 21 years, which is pretty darn amazing. So we're making it's going to be a big party tomorrow at Rock Creek, but big celebration. And the staff is very excited to have Director Phi there and talk about their achievements and how proud they are to have made that happen for 21 years.
You know, she likes sweet things in case there's.
We'll make sure there's something good and sweet, don't we all?
For the record, no comment.
Yeah. I know we've made mention of the compliance program, and I just thought it'd be good to give you an update on where we're at with that. We've been making progress. We've assigned Bruce Corden a new position as of maybe 6 weeks ago. He's our regulatory compliance and audit manager, and we have a steering committee. I am on that committee along with our I'm the acting, Kathy Leader, who is our CFO, and Caroline Lobdell as our general counsel. They've done a good job Bruce has collecting all the policies that we have, identifying priorities for which ones to take on, as well as chartering and templates for policies and procedures. So a lot going on there. We look forward to coming back to the board at one of the work sessions and presenting a very detailed and in-depth status update.
Great,
So,
thank you.
yes, those are my announcements.
So who would like to go first and who would like to go last? Because I know that somebody's want to go last, not first.
I'll go first.
Okay.
What the heck? As each one of us are doing, we're all joining these presentations for our 2 levies. And so that consumes a number of night meetings. Banks was where I was at last week. And I also am tying into those presentations that about once a quarter or so, I try and visit the city councils of the 6 cities in District 4. And so I loop in kind of an update, a county update at the same time. So those have worked well. I've had a number of constituents asking questions about Jackson School Road, about transportation. I wasn't able to go to Colpack or Northwest Act last week because we were in Roundtable. So I've gotten an update on that. I will be at Gaston tonight for the library levy and again for my update. And then Thursday is the Hillsborough Readiness Center groundbreaking. So if you're not familiar with what the Hillsborough Readiness Center is, this has been what we used to refer to out at the fairgrounds, the Armory. So it's a military facility. It's going to be considerably expanded on the fairgrounds. Our prior commissioners negotiated that deal with the military a long time ago. That's how we have the Armory now, that is now the county's on the fairgrounds, and then we swapped it for the land that they're going to build the Readiness Center, which is just east of the TriMet station at the fairgrounds. So with that groundbreaking, this has been a long time coming because this has probably been 10 years in the planning. So this will be kind of a fun thing. So that's what's going on Thursday. And then I've had one Columbia County Commissioner Magruder also reached out to me a few days ago about the museum and what's the plan for the artifacts for the museum, and what's the plan for the museum. And so I got back to her yesterday and just let her know that we were still in discussions on the various options. I think we have something coming in a couple of weeks, and so we'll know more then. And she was perfectly fine with it. She just wanted to make sure that Columbia County Museum is actually wanting to make sure that if there's any things in our museum that could be Oregon-wise or larger county-wise, that they could have a conversation about that. So lots of interest there. So she's good. That's all I
I have
got.
an interest in running a museum.
Would like to go next. Visa or?
Yeah, I go next. Margaret is great, Commissioner Margaret
Yeah.
is, and I think Washington County is the first county in Oregon, which was used to be bigger, and so Columbia County used to be part of Washington County. So maybe some of the artifacts
Yeah,
could relate
could
to.
be. Yeah.
Okay, let me get my notes. Thank you. Since our roundtable on Thursday, my heart has been full of community joy. I've had the honor of engaging with our residents and local businesses in ways that truly remind me why I serve. I had the pleasure of saying a few words at the ribbon cutting of the True by Hilton Hotel in Aloha, a minority-owned business and a successful Oregon family venture. And to me, this was a testament to the entrepreneurship and resilience that makes our community thrive. I think this is their 6th hotel in Oregon. So that was really inspiring story to meet the family and to see their kids running these hotels now too. It's just wonderful. I attended the screening of Bride Price, a film written and executive produced by my college friend, a successful African restaurant owner. The event brought together 500 African immigrants in a joyful celebration of culture, storytelling, and achievement. So Thursday was quite the day. On Saturday, I hosted my monthly town hall, hearing directly from neighbors about the issues that matter most to them. Afterwards, I stopped by the Miller Hill Road neighborhood where residents hosted their own celebration of the completion of the Miller Hill Road sidewalk project, a reminder that community-led efforts make tangible differences in people's lives. And I didn't know what to expect stopping by at this neighborhood. I thought there's going to be just 3 neighbors, but quite a lot. Yeah, I was surprised. And where's Miller Hill Road?
Well, I said I think I was at a residence on Miller Hill Road on Saturday.
You were? I learned that David Explorer Tualatin, executive director, lives on there.
Great.
So I had no idea that he was there, and the neighbors really had a great story about Washington County meeting them where they are in terms of when the sidewalk was completing. This elderly man was sharing his story around how his son comes to visit him with his RV, and the county worked with him to create a sidewalk or a ramp that would work for his son. And he just was like 5 minutes. He just gave just improv as an improv, gave a speech about what, and I was like, oh, I wish we could record this and share it with the staff, because sometimes, great work is done, it's making a difference, but then there's not that loop back. And I wish all the county staff, especially the LUT staff, could hear what he was sharing. But every resident had a really great story to share about, and it's a mile, a little over a mile long, so it's quite a bit. So I think that was my interaction last week. Really, to me, since Thursday, has reinforced my belief that when government and community come together, we can build a county that works for everyone. That's the message I took away from my interaction with people. So Washington County, kudos, and keep up the good work, and we're here to serve. I turn it to you.
Thank you.
I do want to talk one topic. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I have 1 minute, so sorry. I missed it. I forgot to scroll down on my notes. Now I want to return to a topic we discussed last Thursday during our roundtable discussion, the state of the county. I've been thinking about which county facilities to highlight in my upcoming video messages. Two areas stand out for me as a top priorities. WIC, which provides vital support to families, and transportation/transit, which keep our community connected and moving forward. So I thought about our theme of serving people or serving people. So I thought WIC, directly serving people, transportation, serving people every day. So I highlighting these services will be my video.
That's great.
Yeah.
We're going to have that discussion today too on the agenda. So thank
Just
you.
wanted to put, because I think I made a commitment to you all to bring it back during my leadership update. So just fulfilling my part to that commitment, and had a great conversation with our staff.
I thank you. And I think maybe, Jason, if the two of us can hold ours and we'll break to go in there and start, we'll do our updates when we come back.
Totally fine.
But I also want to say thank you for calling out the staff in your talk about Miller Hill Road. And you said it's too bad that the staff couldn't hear him, but they heard you. And I think that's meaningful. So
the man used a stronger vocabulary with a bit of emotion. It just meant a lot to him as a elderly man living in his house, his kids visiting, but they have an RV and the accessibility of that and not damaging. So it was just, I'm not doing any justice to re-articulating what he said, but everybody heard, and there was quite a people there. More than 5 neighborhoods.
I'm sure that staff is listening. So with that, let's break, go to the board meeting, and we'll come back here afterwards. Okay, thank you.